Welcome to Happily Ever Aftermath, the podcast that explores the movies that influenced how we view love and romantic relationships. Yes, there will be spoilers. I'm your host, Diana Roderick-Sconard. When the wind is warm or the crickets sing, I dream of a love that even time will lie down and be still for. We're talking about Practical Magic from 1998, and Justine is here with me to talk about this movie. Hello!
Oh my god, I feel like I was both A, just here, and B, we talk every day, so, this is just, I think, just an extension of just us, but we're recording it.
We have an agenda, too.
Yes.
As opposed to just like, hey, what did you have for lunch?
That's also important.
No, I know. Yeah, so, okay. You said, I want to talk about Practical Magic. This is all paraphrased, of course. Mm-hmm. And I said, yes, okay. Tell me about this movie and you.
Okay, cool. First of all, I was very surprised that you had not covered it yet in your long, illustrious podcasting career.
Thank you. I took the compliment part of there.
Yeah. And then I was like, wait a minute, I don't think I covered it either.
Well, we could make for your podcast, we could make the things like, is it a comedy, hence rom-com? There could be some debate there. This is a very dark movie.
Well, first of all, you know me, that I love sort of those ambiguous, is it rom, is it com, is it also dark? Because I think it should be all. Anyway, we'll get into that in a moment. My history with the film, I don't know why. I'm goofy today, I'm sorry. I apologize to the audience already. I see Diana. She's great. I love her, and I just want to be goofy. Okay. I do have specific memories of this in the era. Yeah, this was 1998, so I was in middle school. Mm-hmm. So my best friend, who was from 6th grade, I remember I used to always hang out at her house a lot because I think she was one of my few friends who lived really close to me, and she had just moved to town, and I had just went to a new school, so we were both like the new kids in that 6th grade class.
Oh, okay.
So we gravitated toward each other. So that's like how our friendship started in 6th grade. And her house was like one of the really, really big farmhouses in the area. As listeners from the past may recall, I'm also from New England. This film takes place in New England, but not filmed in New England, but still connections.
Right. Meant to be in New England. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there are these big farmhouses on the lands that just used to be farmland, but now are, suburbs.
Beautiful in my head.
Yeah, so she lived in a house that she had brothers and sisters, and her family also did foster care. So she also had a variety of other kids in the house too. So it was a big house full of lots of people all the time, lots of energetic, very sort of different from my family. I think my sister had just gone off to college at the time, so I was just kind of very much alone,
Oh, yeah.
So that being said, I was over at her house a lot. And they had like 3 dogs too. It was a lot of action.
All the children, all of the dogs. That's potentially chaos if you're not used to it.
Oh yeah, it was wonderful, wonderful chaos. So they also had like just a variety of stuff in their yard. One being like a converted I don't want to call it a shed, because it was kind of like a very, very small house. Like you could live in it, but not very big.
Wow.
And then also at some point they had like a Airstream. What do you call those? Trailers?
Yeah. The ones that you wind, or just as it is? I
think it was just as it is.
Okay.
So basically we were, I don't know how old, 12, 13. We were adults. So we wanted to class up our slumber parties. So we would have dinner parties in the shed house, or stay in the Airstream, which they did have electricity too. And I distinctly remember this is one of the movies that just kind of lived in that sort of TV that had a DVD player insert a part of it, and it would just kind of you know, so that would like always just kind of like be in there. So that is like, that's how I'm like tying this film to like my memories with like this person and this sort of like magical time, you know?
I mean, just what you described, I'm just like, you could have just lived there and had and have that own space. That is incredible. So, oh my God, continue.
I think that's
Okay.
I mean, like, well, that's how, like, I don't know if it was my movie or her movie, like that part I don't remember. How the movie got in there, I don't know. But like, it was 1998, whatever. It was, you know, puberty for us. So, you know, we were digging, you know, this particular rom-com of the time. And also, we're going to start this conversation now. I think every young lady has had like a witchy phase in their life. Yeah.
Understood.
So this also like cross-sectioned with that too. So like having like little spell books, doing spells, like, yeah.
And
oh my God. Sorry to interrupt.
No, keep going.
I think in the second season of Pen 15, it was either the end of the first season or the beginning of the second season. They had the girls go through like their witch phase on it. And I was just like, this show is already my life. It's in the same like era I grew up in. But I mean, like, they're just spilling all our secrets here.
I think I'm still too fragile about my life at that point in time. I think I watched one episode and I'm like, no, too real. Hang on. No.
It's so real.
I'll come back later.
It's amazing.
I'll come back later. Oh, no, but just what you were talking about with that witchy phase, I will only speak for myself, but I think everyone is on not a timeline, but just like a spectrum, because there's just like the simplicity of playing light as a feather, stiff as a board while you're at a slumber party, or all these different things where just like all these different curses and, you know, spells, what have you, you know, even if you're just playing it in your brain, like the movie has it too, where it's just like, supposedly Sandra Bullock's character's daughters, they haven't practiced anything, but they have the gift and they do something. It's just like, you know, why not play up it? You know, if they're calling it that anyways, you might as well scare the crap out of them if you want to. I don't know.
Yeah. What's your history with this film?
I don't remember when I watched this. I want to say that I watched it around when it came out, that I rented it and I watched it. But I have no, like, watching it over and over again attachment to it. But I remember so much of this movie, it's kind of strange. Yeah.
Ooh.
I also remember when I'm watching it, like I said before, this movie's dark. This movie was not what I thought it would be. And I believe the marketing did that, where it's just like, hey, you got these witches and these are the things. And there's like, no, there's like a curse. And there's like, I mean, the beginning of the movie is watching a woman about to be hanged.
Yeah.
Hanged.
Starts out with the hanging.
The hanging. And I'm just like, wow, this is really, oh, okay. No, that makes more sense. She did not get hanged. That's good. And then she just starts sobbing uncontrollably because she's been banished and she never wants to love again. I'm like, oh, it's like I felt all of it then and it stayed with me, and certain lines stayed with me too. And here's the confession time. Even though I didn't watch this movie very much, I loved the scene where Sandra Bullock falls in love with her husband, her eventual husband. And I think I just tuned out the fact that he was going to die in a curse. It's like, no, let's go back to the part where this kiss is blasting. And all of a sudden she's just like, I have a feeling.
Doesn't it just take you back? It just like throws you back as soon as like that song comes on, this kiss, and you're like, yes, I'm there.
And they meet in the road and they do this thing and she jumps on him and they embrace and it's wonderful.
Oh God, it's so good.
And then we have a montage of their family and she's so happy and she's writing a letter to her sister and then the movie ends. The end. Yay.
Nope.
No, not so much, stupid death beetle.
Sorry.
It's the other part. I love this. I'm much like Diana Fashion. I'm hopping around too. So that's the first memory. The second memory is like, wow, they definitely killed somebody.
They did a murder.
They definitely do a murder. Twice, actually. They twice murder.
Yeah, a couple of times.
And she confesses, like, I love this, that she, okay. So the new character, which I think is great. I absolutely remember the part where she looks in his eyes and says, one blue eye, one green eye. Mm-hmm. And he just kind of mumbles to himself, I was born with it. And I think I remember at the time, I had no idea what he said, so I had to keep rewinding it over. What did he say? What? Mm-hmm. So just one blue eye, green eye, one blue eye, green eye. I'm just like, yeah, but okay, now you be quiet, Sandra Bullock, so I can hear. I was born with it. Oh, okay, I got it. Oh. I don't know if he was trying to defend himself or not, or if he was just confused. I think
he was just confused with this woman, like, voraciously making out with him and then being like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
I'm a boner. Oh my God. Sandra Bullock, come back.
So for those of you who have never seen Practical Magic, this might sound incredibly confusing. But that's okay. Because this is the podcast where we jump around and talk about things and our feelings mostly. But we're
so high in our feels right now.
Okay, so let me see how much I can ground us just for a second for the IMDb description of two witch sisters. Ooh, I think we covered that. Yeah. Okay. Raised by their eccentric aunts in a small town, face closed-minded prejudice and a curse which threatens to prevent them ever finding lasting love. Yeah, kinda. Yeah, all accurate, but like Ryan always complained that she's like, those descriptions never really kind of get to the core of what you talk about. I'm like, yeah, but I'm busy and I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to write something, but so Sandra Bullock, Nicole Kidman as the sisters themselves, and then Stockard Channing and Dianne Wiest as their aunts.
Yes.
Oh, and it's just so great to see them.
Oh, can you believe this casting?
I know, right? And I'm just like, this is really great and just, so well done. And so those are your core, principal characters with it, in addition of you've got your villain played by Goran Visnjic. I want to get that right, and all due respect to that actor. Aidan Quinn. Evan Rachel Wood is one of the daughters, which I'm just like, I couldn't see it, but I'm just like, I'll love you in Westworld.
It's because they gave her orange hair in this.
Oh yeah, it's just like, we kind of want you to be like Nicole Kidman's hair, and it's just, it didn't quite make it.
Did you notice that, each generation there's a brunette and a redhead?
Yeah. I know that's not how genetics works, but it's still cool.
They're witches. It's witch genetics.
That makes
I don't know.
Oh, and shout out to character actress Margo Martindale.
Oh yeah, who's in everything.
Oh my God, yeah. But so now that you're up to speed on who is in it and the very basic premise of it, get more to the core of, like, get back into your feels for me, because right now you're in an Airstream watching it as a child.
Yeah. Because women are a coven.
That's true.
We are. That's what this movie is about. It's sisterly bond.
Yes. Multiple generation sisterly bond.
Mm-hmm. The townsfolk first being apart, coming together. I think, just the end part of, like, making that coven of the women, of it takes a village mentality.
Yes.
And
it's so great.
Dealing with abuse.
Yeah.
Bad boyfriends. Yeah, this is all the metaphor of, like, abusive partners.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was rough. And I wanted to, I know it's emotional when you've got, I keep wanting to call her Nicole Kidman. I'm like, Ginny. No. No.
Jillian.
Jillian, thank you, because I'm just like, she keeps calling her Jilly Bean. I'm like, Jillian? When she's, like, shaking and just kind of bouncing back and forth between, like, I'm going to leave him, and then doesn't, and then I want to just say, it's like, we can get you out of this. I'm not even in your family, but it's okay, but come. I can't make you do anything.
I think the supernatural part of her being conflicted is she's like, he's so strong, but he's so strong that he could actually survive the curse.
Holy shit.
So that would be why she would want to stay with him.
Uh-huh. Oh, Lordy. Okay, hold on.
Do it. Process it.
I do. I need to. That even... Oh. No, that's... As I was watching this for the podcast, I'm just like, I really like the way they layered the stories where everything had a payoff, not in a cliched way, but everything really came together in a way that was just good storytelling. And now you're dropping these layers on me where it's just like, oh... It's just I was grasping at the obvious, sisterly bond, like Frozen or something, but several decades earlier. But now you're oh man, did you? How often did you watch this? Was this a rewatch and find something new every time, which we have discussed earlier with a different movie, but that was offline?
Yeah. I don't remember the last time I've watched it. It's not recent. I definitely probably watched it. I don't know. I feel like I watch it when I feel like it every couple of years or so, but it hasn't been too recent. But it definitely, and like we talked about offline, as I've gotten older, as I'm super adult now, you pick up on more things, you know?
Yeah.
You focus less on the base level, what your teen brain would be like, love, and then you'd be like, oh yeah, as an adult I've been there, or this is what this actually means when a guy says that,
Oh yeah. And it just occurred to me right now, the two, well, okay, with the exception of the first husband, who was just
perfect.
a true love, but just kind of a control, I guess. He's the control relationship where it's just like, it's love and you'll get married and then, okay, that's over with. Whereas here you've got the abusive relationship, and then you have the next round of just Aidan Quinn and Sandra Bullock's character's relationship. And it just occurred to me, both of them are just the stronger, he's so powerful, what you just observed. And then you have the other character who is the law, he has a different version of power over her, and it's kind of fascinating because he comes in and he doesn't understand why there is this uncontrollable need for him to be there too.
Right. So, and you remember what they said about things we give power to. It is what we do. It's our beliefs that give power to things.
Yes, exactly. When she's talking about, I was curious in that scene where he just kind of brings out his badge and then he just disappeared. I'm like, that felt too easy. And I'm glad that was, and then it was too easy. So I'm glad that wasn't the case. I'm just like, no, don't have the guy come in here and banish the spirit, evil.
Yeah. But you can also, the line was, it has power because you believe it does. That can be applied to love.
Yes. That
could be applied to the power that Jimmy had over Jillian. Yeah. But I will say, of course, in abusive relationships, is because you're, quote unquote, trained, worn down, filled into your head that power dynamic exists, know, beaten down.
Oh, yeah. Or that's what you deserve, or that's the best that you can do. That's common. And I just upset myself by saying that. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why when I was thinking back on it, I knew the character existed. I think I assumed that he was rich, and that's a different version of power that I may have given to him, but I didn't really see that so much now. I guess he just had some other, turns out he was just, I think they made it seem like it was serial killer-esque, which is just kind of even creepier.
Yeah, they did, Aidan Quinn's character, Gary, did bring up of hey, he's branded and murdered another woman before, strangled her, which is what he was eventually leading to do to Jillian.
Right.
Probably when those people start getting out of his grasp, start questioning him.
Did you see The Invisible Woman?
I did not.
Yeah. I've only seen clips of it on YouTube, but just hearing the concept of taking just that old story, but moving it into a realm of just what is it, a metaphor for gaslighting and an abusive relationship. It's not meant to be a metaphor per se, because she is literally in an abusive relationship, but just taking that whole thing to the next level. That's what popped into my head. It's just, whew. What was a younger version of you? Because you said younger you was just like love and the base, the basics version of it, but like
the magic.
The magic. Did you pick up on any of this when you were younger, or did it just come to the forefront?
I mean, yeah, you know that this dude is a jerk and he's creepy, but I feel like when you're younger, you focus more on like they kill him off and he immediately becomes like this ghost, So he's just more of like the ghost, haunty, scary figure, you know, not so much the metaphor of like the pervasive, like he's gonna come back and like do bad things to you after you leave a lover sort of thing.
Right. Oh, is that supposed to be like a kind of a representation of just the trauma that exists and perpetuates until one can work past it?
I would say yes.
Okay. Yay, I got that one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, people can take out from this film whatever they, want to, whatever is in their vibe.
Yeah, different people at different ages and different stages of their lives will pick up different things, and that's really a good marker of a well-made movie. And again, like the credit I gave to it, I'm also thinking of the phone tree scene where I really enjoyed when you've got all the moms who are being catty and not exclusive, but just basically excluding Sandra Bullock's character. And you have Gillian come in, and it makes it seem like that's her character, but I enjoyed that she played up the homewreckers in town type of thing just because it makes everyone else uncomfortable. But she knows
she is
who
what
she
they
is.
say she is.
I know. And that actually comes up later in the movie where it's just like, it doesn't matter what you think we are. Oh, guess what? It turns out we are, but not the way you think we are. So, let's get this out in the open instead of just pretending that we're not. That's another really good thing that kind of dances between the two sisters and how one decides to just hide and be normal, and the other one's just like, nah, let's live our lives and do what we want. We're in fact, if anything, Gillian was jealous because she wasn't as powerful as her sister.
Yeah. And then the whole like, they know from being young girls that like, hey, if you ever do fall in love, you're gonna get heartbroken because your partner will die because you love them so much. And that I think like messes you up in the head a bit. So, for that, it for Gillian, she just bounced around from man to man to man, hoping to never ever fall in love. And Sandra Bullock, before the aunts like put a spell on her to open her legs a bit, she was a recluse and was just getting old and was just going to be an old maid, and not live life at all.
Right. No, there's nothing wrong with growing up without a partner or a relationship, but not that way. Not because you're afraid. Or I mean, now granted, there are real life stakes going on there, so
true.
But the message stands. The message stands there, and I've been living that a lot lately, where it's just like I'm afraid to kind of. It's mainly like I'm afraid to do something because eventually the thing will end. Yeah, and I fear endings, but
everything ends.
I know. I don't want that.
Every single thing.
I know. Is that like how change is constant?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha. Another thing I want to point out at this movie, and I think it's really, really great, is that I'm referring to it as the Legally Blonde effect because it's the first time I truly noticed it, where this is a story about the people and they're living their lives and they're overcoming things. And it just so happens that in the process of doing that, hey, they also get a love interest and a relationship at the end. So it's not the center of it. So it was over an hour by the time Aidan Quinn's character shows up. I timed it. But I enjoyed it because you're spending that entire hour watching everything lead up to this point. And the relationship, even though it's like the cornerstone of their lives, it's not about him, although it is about him because she, as she put it, she sent for him. She put a thing together. And as an adult, I'm just like, of course that's going to backfire a little girl. I'm just like, I'm going to conjure up somebody who will never exist. I'm like, you're going to have to come up with something really, really specific. Like, come on, you're a kid. Say, and he's been on the moon. And
that is more specific than he can ride a pony backwards. He's got one green eye, one blue eye. Can flip pancakes in the air.
I'm just imagining, like, okay, flip pancakes. You've reduced it down to 3 people. 3 people cannot flip pancakes. Okay, can we narrow it down a little more? I want to ask you about this because as we ask on this podcast, when did they fall in love? We really have to touch the specifics of, we're talking about magic in place.
Right.
And so it can bring up the whole like free will concept.
Which they did bring up in the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would like to get your take on this.
He fell in love with her when he read her letter. Do you see how worn out that letter was?
Yes, it was. It's just like, she even asked, she asked him just like, how many times? He's like, a couple. No. And I reread it. I found the quote that was the letter. I'm just like, that letter was so beautiful and heartbreaking. And just like, I understand why anyone would just kind of get absorbed into the person who's on the other side of it. Also, she wax sealed it.
Yeah.
It's a great touch right there. Oh my God. Is there magical interference going? The answer is yes. But to what extent do you think about it?
Okay, so this is what I propose to you.
Okay.
That love is magic.
Mm.
Here's the thing.
Okay.
Here's the thing. It also goes with the name of this movie, Practical Magic. Mm-hmm. You can't be practical when you're trying to fall in love, which is what she was doing. You gotta let a little bit of the magic of life sizzle in there as well.
I'm nodding.
Well, you can't quantify love, basically.
Yes. No. I'm definitely in agreement. The whole thing I'm saying is just like, but so much of my relationship is practical. That's not what you said. That's not love. That's a part of it. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I came on this podcast knowing I'm like, I debate your thesis of your podcast.
And I enjoy it very much so. Also, we're watching a film, so I'm just like, it probably happened off screen like 60% of the time, so that's okay. You're right. You're absolutely right. And in fact, we tend to cheat sometimes where it's just like, well, by then she was in love, but had to have happened before then. But I couldn't tell exactly when. Shut up, it's my podcast.
Exactly.
No. That letter, he came out from Arizona. You're absolutely correct. In fact, there's nothing really in there except like, oh, well, this is a clue to a guy, but are you really obsessed with that guy? Is this like, we don't get the idea that he's supposed to be like, I've been chasing this guy for like 4 years and we couldn't get enough evidence. I'm like, you have a ton of evidence before. Why is it?
He wanted to see the woman who wrote this letter.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, accurate. Love it. You're making me process so much right now.
I'm sorry.
No. You didn't let me finish my sentence. That's why I love having you back.
Oh, too kind.
Do you have any thoughts on her?
That one's a little trickier.
Yeah.
Because of the way the narrative is set up, that she quote unquote created this dream guy, and then here he is right in front of her. It's hard for me to say. I'd like to have your take on it.
I'm really going through the movie as I'm thinking about the question, just bit by bit, and all of the. I would suppose if I was just going for the quantitative answer, I would submit my response as it's when she decides to tell him the truth. And she said that, but she's also doing it in a way because she made the observation, I can't lie to him. And she's saying it, and I'm wondering, like, can she not lie to him? She literally cannot because it's part of this, thing that's binding them together, or she can't because she feels it in a way because of the connection that they have that may or may not be interfering with what's happening right now. But if that's happening, that is overpowering her bond with her sister, which we both know to be huge. So I would say her decision. But I'll also note that she says all of her answers, which are the truth, but also is protecting her sister at the same time. So the fact that she's dancing back and forth between it is just beautiful and very strategically done. And I say that from the writer standpoint and the acting standpoint, not necessarily from the character. And if I'm going on a more emotional level, when they start kissing each other, and then she sees what he has the eyes, and then she leaves again. I could say.
Well, then she's conflicted.
Yes. So it's just like, I fell in love. Wait, hold on. This is a problem. I'm conflicted. Yes, exactly. And then the next level of that is, again, she still has to tell him the truth. And the truth is like, you'll never know. You'll never know I'll never know if I love you if it's not for this. And you'll never know if you love me because I don't want to go to prison. And, and that's another one where I'd just be like, is that it? I don't know. I'm just so turned around by that. But I think it's when, okay, official answer until I change my mind again, which may happen before this podcast is over. It's when he was walking away and he said to her, I wish for you too. That's him telling her, oh, you think that you have this power, yes, and you think that I'm only here because of that, sure, but you're also forgetting the fact that you think that I don't want this. But at one point he did, and he's probably referring to that life that he had before this thing was even put in place. I mean, she was a child when this happened, and he existed beforehand too. He probably had girlfriends and relationships and all these different things, but he also knows himself well enough to know, like, this isn't it. And when he read that letter, which I'm gonna agree with you on that, when he's just like, this, oh yes, this, what I wished for.
This is
It's so deep, even though it's such a small aspect of it, but like a small aspect in terms of them actually interacting with one each other, but so big for the movie.
I know the stakes are like so high.
Yeah.
Because, and also she's effing worried of like, well, if I fall in love again, you're gonna die.
Right. Which brings up the next interesting question. What happens if, like, she falls in love with somebody, but they're not together? It's like we're trying to get into technicalities of beating a curse.
Yeah, that's too much.
Yeah, no, don't worry about that. We won't go too far into that because it's just, because then we're just world building, and then it's just like, well, that's not my job. That's
yeah.
So I'll have one question for you that leads up to the next part, and it's the curse. So Jillian is we'll say possessed by the evil spirit of Jimmy, and the town comes together. A coven is formed. There is a multiple attempts, and ultimately enough comes together. There's a bond of sisterhood that the spirit is out of her, and then we're told through voiceover that the curse has been broken.
Yeah.
I'm skeptical about it, but I'd also like to believe that there's something that took place within these sisters that made it known.
Yeah.
Even though, now granted, it's Sandra Bullock doing the voiceover, and she's perpetually skeptical and practical, hence the name. So I can see her just being hesitant to say, and I guess the curse was lifted, but I'm willing to wager that Jillian's just like, no, I think, I think she knows, whereas...
Yeah, I think they internally know that the curse is lifted. Maybe it's something they feel like lighter about, a feeling like that. I think the curse got lifted because the two or more witches worked together. Oh. Previously, it's only been like one witch going through all this by themselves. And then once you get the power, multiplied. I know we're talking about magic, blah, 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 whatever. It's storytelling.
Yes.
But I think, like, when you relate it to real life, you're going to heal the hurts of the past, together. You can do as much by yourself, but, like, together in that bond, that sisterly bond.
Yes.
That was, like, and in Frozen, too. The purest magic of all.
Oh. Oh yeah. It's like when you said that, I'm like, I'm going to agree with you so loudly right now that I'm going to blow out the mics. Because one of the things that I learned about my relationship is that my marriage is strongest when I have my friendships just like existing as an independent person with my own friendships. I'm able to be me in different places with different people, and then I'm able to just continue the happiness of that, and then I just bring it back to my relationship, and it's just like, hi. You want to rub your back? I know you'll like that because I had a great day with my friends.
See, you are a true whole witch.
Oh. Yay.
You got your power.
Oh my God. I mean, I love you so much. I'm not going to cut my hand for you because that's just a different insecurity that I have.
No. Yeah.
But if we could do like some version of an equivalent of that, I would do it right now.
You want to touch screens?
Oh, yeah. No blood.
No blood.
As my blood.
Yeah.
You keep your blood.
Yeah. We're cool with that.
Oh my God. Okay. So the curse part set aside because I feel good about that. What happens next?
I'd like to go back. I just basically want to talk about the aesthetic of this film, the production design, the costuming. Yes. Is this your effing dream or what? Do you want to live in this world? Because I do.
So nice. You know, like in the small town vibe where it's like, she couldn't have been running for that long when she's running from the house to the town.
Nobody drives. They just walk everywhere.
I mean, except for the truck that hit her husband, but we won't go there. That was a delivery truck. They need to bring more things. Okay.
Well, they were on an island.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yes. Beautiful. But I love beautiful town.
Oh God. I literally I was like, oh my God, if I could like give this film to like a decorator or like a costume, stylist, be like, or just a stylist in general, just be like, here, this is what I want to look like. Like perfection. I love the little touches of like their herb garden and stuff inside with like the rose petals everywhere, the mason jars. I know it's like so cliche, but I mean like it's also pretty gorgeous.
It's beautiful.
And they have like butterflies on their walls. Like they love all things nature.
Yes.
They're very connected to it. All the rest of the house, like the bedrooms, very sparse, like barely any walls at all, and just beds. But then you'll have like the skeleton birds above them. I don't know. It's just the design of it. I really love because it's pared down because it probably had to be very cheap, but also like what they did have like said a lot. And
even just the telling her daughter to go out and get the mint from the garden before she goes to school. And I'm like, that's an amazing sentence that I want in my life. Yeah. Go to the garden and get some mint before I have to, before I go to work. Oh, I can go back to school. Doesn't matter. It's about the mint. Oh, man. And it's also kind of funny that even with the roses growing, which is actually kind of like a bad omen, I'm like, it's still so beautiful though. It's like even something bad happening. I'm wondering if the roses is just like, hey, everyone, you should really make note of what's happening right now because the frogs were kind of gross.
Oh, yeah. And I love the costuming, even of like the girls, the main characters when they were girls. Little like angel wings, the little like satin pajamas. Like they showed the characters through the clothes, like who they were. And, Antonia's little mouse ears and tail, like... And then the aunts, their style indicates that, like, yeah, they may actually be older than what they say they are because they're not dressing in this decade.
Right. I mean, allegedly, there's, placenta things that they're making that are making them so young. And I'm just like, sell that if that's working. Oh.
I just love it. I don't know. I'm like very much, I don't know, you can't see my background, but it's got very much like little stars and stuff here that I'm hanging up. I always did that like as a kid too, and just like if I could just have that cozy cottage core. That's what the kids are calling it these days.
Nice to know it existed before it had a name, but still.
Yeah.
Whereas I want to lean on the nature part of it where I've recently figured out that I enjoy having flowers in my kitchen, just to look at them and just, it's like, oh, that's really nice. Something that's not artificial, just kind of.
I know. I buy flowers for myself too, and I love looking at them. I just love that they're there.
Beautiful. Yeah. Younger me didn't want them, like, it's wasting money. No, I get it now. No, worth it. Worth it if it's something that you want. Okay. So now that's the house. So in the future, what happens next is you get to move into that house, and okay.
I don't live in New England anymore, but those like Victorian style with like the widow walk. It's like it's almost like the same house that's in Hocus Pocus.
You've got I'm just imagining that just the craftsmanship. I don't get to see that too much here. I guess I don't know. Is there a reason, or is that just preference on one side versus the other?
In the architecture, I mean, definitely New England houses are older, and a lot of the sprawl happened in California just to make and sprawl, the suburbs.
The McMansions,
a lot of the
if you will.
houses look the same. Yeah, out of convenience and blah, 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 1950s. That's another podcast.
I mean, even though I use the term, if someone wants to give me a McMansion for free, I'll take it. But I'd most likely sell it and then get something a little bit more. No, I like space. No, I don't want space. Not the point, Diana. Okay. What do you think is in the cards for this family that just kind of bonded together at the end of the movie with a new
Beautiful
addition?
happiness.
Say it again.
Beautiful happiness.
Oh.
I can't think of anything like terrible happening to them. The town accepts them now. They've got a whole new chapter in their lives.
Well, we just watched the terrible things happening to them over and over again for 300 years. I think that's good. I think that's fantastic that it's just like, no, just happiness. Like, nothing wrong with that. So here's my question. Did Officer Gary move to New England from Arizona?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
He got himself a sugar witch.
All that expensive shampoo for free now.
Yeah, that's right.
Alrighty. Yeah, no, it was really nice with the ending scene, and then he's hugging the girls and, just having a family. So the answer is, whereas I agree with what you said, I'm going to take it one step. There's going to be so many more pancakes. Those girls are going to learn how to make that cactus pancake.
And the girls are going to learn to actually do magic.
Yes.
I think it'll be allowed.
Yes, they'll be a little bit behind on their learning, but they've got multiple generations to learn from.
And they'll have their Aunt Jillian in their lives who wasn't there.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah. And I can see Jillian becoming better at it because the community around her and the strength of her family will make her better.
Yeah. I mean, I think, that's an interesting point to think about what's going to happen to Jillian. Of like, does she stay home?
Yeah.
I mean, she does have that great bond. And she doesn't need to run away from home so much anymore. But I feel like she is adventurous.
Yes.
So maybe she does go on, vacations.
Yes.
But can return home. And especially I think having the, her nieces be, vocal probably about wanting her there would keep her there too.
Oh, yeah. So when you said that about being adventurous, yours seems very organic, that she would just do that and then vacation. I don't know exactly why, but what popped in my head was pharmaceutical sales rep, where it's like one step beyond the belladonna. She knows her sleep aids, so maybe that's her way of being able to hit some territories all up and down the coast. be able to travel, because it's my understanding that they do very good in terms of like salary. So she's able to just do that for a period of time and then come back home and have it both ways. So that way she can do that and come back.
I would like to see her help other women.
Oh, there it is.
Not, and I don't want to put that on her because like she's been through some shit,
Sure.
but maybe she gets strong enough with the help and then would want to help other women in need like that and just go murder men.
Hey everyone, I got away with this before. The important thing is to have a really good sister. That's me. I'm your sister now.
She becomes like, the vigilante type. No. Maybe. Who knows? Sequel.
All right. Oh, wow. I mean, if it's healing for her, I'm not going to deny her that.
Yeah. Maybe she just maims them a lot. I don't know. Who knows? She's powerful.
It's okay. My brother-in-law, he can help us. He won't help.
He covers it up.
Oh, we turned it darker.
Yeah. Like you said, the movie already had its dark points.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's going to be some happiness there. I really like that part of it. It's earned. It's definitely earned. It's not just because that's what we feel like and we just really, really need it this week.
Yeah. I just thinking about it is going to be interesting because like with A Curse Broken, it's like there are going to actually be men around in the family in the future generations.
Yeah.
It's going to be such an interesting dynamic, but I still think it's going to be sort of more matriarchal.
Yeah. I was really curious if part of that curse was just like only daughters. If you do the thing that you're not supposed to have, only daughters. Because I can see A Curse doing that. I think we did it.
Hell yeah.
Totally. Yay. Yay. Any other thoughts about the movie before I say we did it? I already said that. Doesn't matter.
Well, I just gotta point out one line that I wrote down that I think is totally of the time is during that, like, Sally calls up the phone tree and then the woman at the store goes, Sally just came out!
Oh, yeah. And I'm just like...
And I was like, is this a metaphor? No, they're just being cute. But is it?
I mean, yes, but, like, that's weird in a way. So, where it's just like, is this dated or is this doing something else? I can't tell.
I think it's up for the listeners to decide.
Oh, yeah. No, that's a good point. Yeah, one of the things I'll point out is I didn't realize that this was considered to be a flop, and now it has cult status. I don't know what it was in my realm at that age, but I'm just like, no, I thought this movie was huge. I guess it's just that it stuck with me as much as it did.
It flopped?
It did. Like critically and I guess commercially. I didn't check the actual numbers for the commercial, but all of the lists are, it's just like, well, it's got cult status now. I'm like, well, cult status implies a flop. Otherwise, yeah. I'll you know what? Let's have the listeners verify that for me.
Okay.
Yes. That's the hate.
You do some work, listeners.
Yes, please.
You're a part of this.
Yes, you're part of our coven. And I don't want to accidentally or intentionally start insulting people who actually have covens. So we're just going to say welcome to our circle.
Yeah.
Yay. Yay.
It's got power because we believe in it.
Bam. That's the way to say it. Thank you so much for talking about this movie with me. Where can the listeners find you, your excellent podcast, and also your social medias?
Thank you for having me on your excellent podcast again. Yeah, I also co-host a podcast, Pot Appetit Gourmet Takes.
Yum.
And it's a podcast where we talk about food media, and sometimes we cook, and yeah, we watch food shows. And we just talk about food, and I, like, learn how to cook and stuff. And it's great. And it's on all socials at, like, pod_appetit. And me, I'm on Twitter and Instagram at mixtape montage. I don't post too often these days, but I'm always there. It's like I'm there, I'm interacting, you can talk to me. But yeah, maybe I don't post so much.
Oh, that is a good way to say I do the same. I am also there, but not posting too much. On Twitter and Instagram at HEAMCast. That's HEAMCAST. I've apparently given you assignments, so if you know what's going on with practical magic, you can also reach out at the email contact@heamcast.com. Oh my, this was wonderful. Thank you so much again.
Yay!
Yeah. Alrighty. So until next time, may your aftermath be happy.